All right, y'all. We're back. Okay. Game is over. We lost. Very embarrassing, right? We were kind of speculating on the halftime stream if we were losing on purpose. I don't think that we were. I just think that Mississippi State is a better team. They beat us earlier in the season. They beat us again. There's a lot of things that I'm taking away from this loss that is frustrating me. I still got well, I guess the post game stuff is on right now, but it's a lot of stuff, okay, that I'm frustrated about. Um, we need to work on being able to defend better athletes, teams that have good athletes that can dribble the ball and that can drive. We can't stay in front of them. That might be the biggest concern heading into the tournament. Any team that's got some athletic guards, I mean, we are going to struggle significantly. DK does not do a good job guarding people. And it seems like maybe it's gotten worse. And I don't understand why, because he looks like a good athlete on offense when he's got the ball in his hands, but on defense, he just looks a step slow. It's like he can't stop, can't change directions. And then, you would think, right? Now, P talked about this on some other streams and videos and stuff, but we never really played a whole lot of basketball. Okay. We were football, baseball, other sports, but I can just tell you from football, which is what we mostly played. I mean, you put so much time into the little attention to detail things. And, it just seems like in basketball, for whatever reason, they don't focus enough on that. And you would think that, okay, if I'm not as good of an athlete to be able to stay in front of guys that are better athletes, I have to find a way to slow them down, right? Like you should be able to game plan and say, okay, maybe this player doesn't go as well to the left. So I'm going to force them there. Like just little things that you would think that we can do, but we're not doing it on a consistent enough basis. And I'm very concerned heading into the tournament. I mean, number one seed is out the window. I don't see how we could possibly get that. I honestly don't even want it because we don't deserve it. We have to find a way to win as a two seed and probably have some tougher matchups. That west side, that west region inside of the bracket, that was the by far the weakest. It's not a whole lot of juggernaut teams this season, but for us, looking at the way that this team is built off of, we're going to play good, sound, fundamental defense. That's the biggest thing. That's what we try to do. But again, we can't do it versus the better athletes. And we're pretty much relying on DK and on ZZ to bail us out and to score. And everyone else, it's hit or miss. Will they be hot? Will they not be? Tobe and Jonas Adu coming in at the same time. Maybe in games like this will be a better strategy since we can't tend to guard guys off the dribble well. Maybe we need to start playing more zone. I don't know what it is, but it's very frustrating. And I would just like to know what y'all's thoughts are on why is this continuing to happen to Rick Barnes? Or, is it Rick Barnes? Is it something else? But I think it's got to be him. It's something that he's doing in his, March prep. And it's called March Madness for a reason because any team can win on any given day. But, again, if a team beats you twice and they're better than you, I don't think that he prepares his teams well for the NCAA tournament. They're good regular season teams, but to be able to win in the tournament, to be able to go far, you've got to be able to stop some dynamic playmakers with the ball in their hands. And Tennessee again, we just cannot do that. So y'all let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Let me get to a couple of these chats that came up before I got into the stream. Sorry that we started it a little bit later, y'all, but, I had to finish watching the game. I just set it for 3 because I didn't know what time the game was going to end. But right here, Blackout Jones says, yep, this is the UT I was afraid of come tournament time. Yes, sir. Definitely echo those sentiments. And my man Tristan says Rick Barnes is a regular season champ, but comes to tournament time, he chokes. Due to work warned me about that when we hired him and didn't believe it, but now I do. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been seeing that with him. I mean, literally since he's been coaching. That's the story of his tenure. And then Poon Smith says DK couldn't even make an open dunk at the end of the game. What a day. Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely it was a travesty. I think that's the best way that I could describe it. It was an absolute and total travesty. Let me go ahead and pull up the stats right here. I'll get that fixed. Pull up these stats real quick. All right, so this is what it looked like: 73 to 56. Okay, Mississippi State ends up shooting 55.3% from the field, 30% from three, 77% from the free throw line. Let's take a look at what our Vols did. 31%. And I told y'all, I said, man, our shooting woes it's serious. It's actually amazing that we were able to win the games that we did towards the end of the season, shooting, below 35%. And I think last game was at maybe 32 or 33%. So we shot even worse in this game, 24% from three. And we actually shot well from the free throw line. I mean, we didn't shoot that many free throws compared to Mississippi State. That's something else too that I'll say is that the referees didn't help us out by any means. As far as I could see, it looked like they were giving all the calls to Mississippi State. So I don't know how much of a difference that would have made. I think it definitely would have made some sort of a difference. There was even some times when it was kickballs and just a lot of obvious stuff that the refs didn't call in our favor. And they called it for Mississippi State. So the game just was not it was not called evenly. So let's go ahead and go down the stat list right here. Jonas Adu had 5 points. All right, he had 10 boards. Let's see, he had a block, he had a steal. I think that he played pretty well. I mean, he definitely could have scored more. I think we could have tried to get the ball to him a lot more, especially whenever we see that our guys on the outside aren't scoring and aren't getting open. I think Mississippi State did play well too. Let me, I want to give them credit because they played a very good game. I had somebody say, well, that's what happens whenever you take so much time off and the other team's been playing. I think that that's true. Maybe that's part of what Rick Barnes needs to do more of. If he's giving his players a break heading into the tournament, start playing them more. Okay, keep them going. Practice. I don't know what you can do legally because I know that with school and all that, it's certain times that you can practice, certain times that you can. But I would think that we've got enough leaders on this team that they could have got together and said, "Hey, we're gonna do a team practice." And say, "Hey, coach, let us know what drills you want us to run. What do we need to work on today?" And they do it themselves. I don't know if they did that or not, but something needs to change. I don't want to know that Rick Barnes is doing what he did since he's been coaching and expecting something different to come out of it. So I'm hoping, okay, that maybe someone will be able to talk to Rick and say, hey, Rick, we got to change something. All right. So what did we do last year? Or, what have we done since you've been on campus here in Knoxville? Well, we're going to do the exact opposite now. We're going to see if that works because this is not going to be acceptable. And it's very embarrassing. I'll tell y'all. I mean, we're one of those teams that could potentially get upset very early on in this thing. And I mean, how embarrassing would that be with a team like this? Let's keep on going. DK had 14 points. All right. Let's see. He took 15 shots. I don't know what that percentage is. 4 or 15. He shot 9 threes. He made 2. He made a couple of good shots right there. He hit all of his free throws. He only shot 4, but he hit them all. What did he do as far as rebound? Looks like he got 1 rebound. He had 1 assist. And he had 3 turnovers. So he didn't, he just didn't really give us a whole lot. He gave us the 14 points, but he's got to give us more, especially on defense. We talked about that earlier on. Now, Zakai, I like what he did, especially down that stretch. He's got that ice water in his veins. And that's something else that I didn't talk about with Jonas, but it seems like he gets a little bit nervous, man. Like when it's crunch time, he does not seem very clutch. And that right there scares the heck out of me. Like whenever I think we were coming out of a timeout break, it was a TV timeout or something, and he's shooting free throws, and he just breaks that first one horribly. And he's a good shooter, but then he splashes the second one. So it's just like, dude, stop being so nervous. Come out here and play. But Zakai, he played well. So he shot 7 of 17, 4 of 12 from 3 points, and he had two rebounds, 2 assists. And he had 4 turnovers. So I forgot about them turnovers. I think most of those was earlier in the game. He played pretty well, but he does. I mean, we got to take better care of the basketball, especially early on. So, he ends up with 20 points. He was, obviously he was our leading scorer. And then Santi, 4 points. He kind of continues to be the guy that, he makes heads, he plays, right? He's going to take those charges. He's going to get you some calls that can maybe help to swing that momentum in your favor. But, I mean, you would love to see him scoring at a much higher clip. How many shots did he shoot right here? He shot 6 times. So I love the fact that he's shooting 4 threes. Didn't make any of those. But, he only made 1 shot from the field. That's tough, okay? He had 4 assists. He had 2 steals, and he had 1 rebound. Josiah Jordan James, 0 points. He put a goose egg up there. Now, his shots were actually pretty close, and he was shooting with some confidence. Like, you could tell, especially early on, he was shooting with some real confidence. And I think that he missed maybe 2 times. The confidence, you could tell it wasn't really there. And he would pass up a couple of open shots. He took 5 of them, okay, from the field. He took 3 3-point shots, and he missed every single one of them. He had 7 rebounds. He does a really good job of getting rebounds for the most part. Now, he does. I don't know if his hands are small or something, but the ball does seem to kind of like sometimes just bounce and slide out of his hands. And I mean, get him some vice grips, coach. I mean, like, get him something to, I mean, like, I can't say that we're not doing these things, but we need to be doing them. I mean, if you see that there's an area where someone needs to improve at, find a way to help them improve on that. We should have been doing that from the start of the season. As much as we hate Kentucky, the one thing that I can say about them and Coach Cal is they might not have the best regular season, but around this time, you see it all coming together because what they do is they work on stuff, right? Like they work, and I'm not saying that we don't, but it's like he puts them in positions to say, okay, can you handle this? Can you handle that? And now he knows going throughout the season, hey, we need to be working on these things. So towards the end of the season, they become a different team heading into the SEC tournament, heading into the NCAA tournament, which is even more important. And I'm not, again, I'm not saying that we're not doing that, but if we're not, we need to be doing it. That's kind of stuff that you do in football. Now, on down to the bench, Tobe, I've kind of talked about him a lot. Very frustrating. He frustrated the heck out of me this whole game. I don't even know. He just seemed very clumsy. Couldn't hold on to the basketball. I don't understand that. You're too big, right, to not be able to hold on to a ball that it's going to be pretty small for your hands, sir. So that it was very frustrating. And you know what? Everyone has bad games, right? Everyone has bad games. We kind of talked about maybe we should have put Tobe in earlier, okay, just to kind of slow them down from driving. And then that's something else that I forgot to kind of touch on. That point guard, that 6'7" point guard that Mississippi State has, he's not a great shooter, but he's a great athlete. So something that I get frustrated with as well with this team is why are we closing out on these guys on the perimeter so much? Let them dadgum shoot, bro. I mean, if they can't shoot, force them to show you that they can shoot. Make them, like stop them from driving and make them shoot. I don't feel like we do enough of that. It's just, to me, a lot of the stuff is just common sense stuff. And again, I'm not, I love basketball, but I'm not as well versed, you know what I'm saying, in some of the little fundamental stuff. So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. I'm gonna get to the chats in just a second. JP Estrella, I love his effort all the time coming off of the bench. He didn't give us any points. But I really love his effort. There was a couple of times, like when the shot clock was running down, and he just gets a stupid foul. We just played stupid today. I mean, we just didn't play headsy at all, and that's frustrating. Gainey, he had that 1 3-point shot. He was 1 of 3 from the field, and they were all 3-point shots that he took, and he really didn't give us anything else. He got a steal. He had 1 turnover. It seemed like he turned the ball over more than that. His turnover was actually one of the ones that I was talking about in the previous video where we had just gotten a steal, and he almost did that twice. I mean, you got to take better care of the basketball. And then Meshack, I really like what he did too coming off of the bench. He gave us 10 points. He was 4 of 6 from the field, so he was probably the most efficient scorer that we had. It looks like, yeah. And I don't know what's going on with the 3-point right there. It just says 2. So I know that he at least hit 1. He might have hit 2 3-pointers. Maybe that's what that's trying to indicate right there. He hit 1 free throw. He had a rebound. I'm sorry, he had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. So that's how we looked as a team and as a unit. Let me get back over here to the other screen, and let me go ahead and start getting some of these chats, man, because I know that some of y'all have been waiting. Excuse me. Right here, bro. Regard, got to make buckets to win games. Absolutely. Absolutely. We've been saying it. We got to do it. We got to find a way to get hot. I was hoping that we would have came out and got hot today, but we did the exact opposite. And then right here, JL says, hopefully this is a reality check. Yes. I sincerely hope that that's what this is going to be for us. And guys, it could end up being one of those blessings in disguise types of deals where, hey, man, we can work on some things. We can decide, hey, like we've got to get a couple of things fixed, and we get them fixed heading into the tournament because we will. We are in the tournament. Don't know how the draw is going to look. It's again, I think it's going to be a lot tougher than what it would have been or should have been. JL also says, seems like they can slap and at the ball, and every time we do it, we could call for a foul. Yeah, man. I definitely, it was not called even at all. There was a lot of times where they're charging. It was times when they traveled. It was a lot of stuff that the refs just did not call. And this is not a game, though, that I want to blame on the refs, because I think that we should still be able to find a way to win. You know what I mean? Like, you should still be able to shoot. We didn't play well, y'all. We played horrible. But to your point, JL, the refs did not help us out at all. Juarez Goodness says Tennessee was off a whole week. It showed we lack size and guys who can score. Defense shows lapses. Yeah, I agree with that. We don't have that length that a lot of these other teams have, and again, we don't play well versus the more athletic teams. That's a problem, and I don't think that we shoot well enough We don't have enough guys that are just knockdown shooters for us to play the way that we play. So I think that Rick Barnes has got to, I mean, like, you've got to do something different. And I know that he's been coaching for so long, so he's going to be setting his ways, but coach, play a zone defense against some of these teams. I mean, switch some stuff up. Just do something. Don't live and die always playing man defense when we just, again, don't really have the athletes or the length to stop these guys. It's a very, very frustrating loss. It most definitely is. But we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing ends up playing out. We'll see. Could we potentially drop down to a 3 seed? I don't know. I have no idea. I guess it really would depend on how everything else shapes up. But for sure, North Carolina is going to get that 1 seed out west. I would love to know what region we're going to end up in. That's another big question. I think it was. Let me see. That East region, if I'm not mistaken, is where. Is that right? Yeah, the East region is where UConn is. I think UConn is going to be a problem. Creighton is in the South region, so is Houston. I think that they're going to be a problem for us too. Just again, guys who have good athletes. If you can create your own shot, and then you've got shooters too, and then they've got some good bigs. At least with Creighton. I don't know how to say that, but anyway, yeah. We got to get something figured out, y'all, because it just does not look good for us right now. It just honestly doesn't. It just really doesn't. But Selection Sunday, it's coming up. What Sunday is the 17th? Yeah, so it's coming up on the 17th. And what does the tournament start on the 18th? Is that when the first games will be? Oh man, we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna keep y'all. We're gonna keep y'all up to date. We're gonna keep y'all up to date off of everything. And then TN Junior says facts. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. I don't really have a whole lot more to add to that at all. Actually, let me see if I can find, because something that I also would like to take a look at is the bracketology. Okay, let's go ahead and just pull that up real quick, because give me a second, because I want to make sure that I've got that right. What I was saying about those different regions. Let's see. Let's see how that's all going to play out once this thing gets pulled up. But yeah, I mean, we at this point we need to figure out who do we want to see, who don't we want to see, and all that type of stuff. Let me see if I can get this thing. My computer is going slow, y'all. It might not. I might not be able to get this thing up. But again, off the top, man, I want to say that Purdue is in the dang. What was the first? Is it the North region? I'm not too afraid of Purdue personally. I think we can handle them. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and get this thing pulled up for y'all now, because now it's up. But yeah. Oh, and then you know what? The other thing too is I think in that South region we've got Auburn. I mean, Auburn would be a team that, even though we beat them early, I don't know if we can do it again. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, I really don't. So let me get this out the way. All right. So now on down to the bracketology. All right, so right here in the West, right, that's where we was. And if we end up where ESPN is saying that we're going to end up at in the South, hold on, y'all. Let me see. Let me make sure I got this so y'all can see it right. Y'all can see the whole thing. All right, so if we end up down here in the South, the first game looks like it will be versus Colgate. Do y'all know anything about Colgate? Because I don't. And then we've also got Clemson and Michigan State on that same, in that same little Charlotte region. I don't know, man. I think we could probably handle all of those teams, but then after that, who do you think comes out of that Memphis region? Texas Tech, you know, maybe Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M, if they get in, I don't know what's going on with that right now. But Creighton, so Creighton is that's the one that everyone's been talking about. Creighton probably comes out of there, so we would have to, if we get out of the Charlotte region, we're probably gonna have to see Creighton. And I haven't really watched them play, but from what I've heard, y'all, they're supposed to be a really good team. Then up top, do you think Houston could potentially lose early? I don't know. I don't know much about Stetson, but you know what? There's something about Houston. I feel like they could. I feel like they might lose early. I don't want to give away my bracket secrets, but I kind of think Houston might go down. And then down here in the Salt Lake side, man, we might end up seeing Alabama again. I'm fine with seeing them. I think that we can beat them again. I think that we play tougher than them. I think that we're mentally stronger than them, and I think that mentally we feel like we are the better team. So I would like that matchup. If we can make it through our little Charlotte region, if we can beat Creighton, and then we get to see, more than likely, I think it would be Alabama or Houston. I don't feel terrible about that. But some of these other sides, right? I mean, you look at the East. Oh boy. All right. So UConn, I know UConn's going to be a tough one. Who else did I get up there? Auburn. I think Auburn would be tough. Duke. I think that we can handle Duke, but they would also probably be tough. And the Mississippi State's up there as well. Do we want to see them for our third time? I don't think that we would if we end up over there. And then in the okay, so that's called the Midwest region. Purdue, I know that they're good. We played them earlier. I think we actually played them well though. And well, shoot, Kentucky. I don't want to see Kentucky. I'm hoping that's a team out of all the teams that might be the one that I really don't want to see. Kentucky's, Kentucky's good. They are a tournament team. North Carolina will be another one that I would probably be a little bit concerned about seeing. And I don't think that we'll end up on the same side with North Carolina by any means, but we can just take a quick look at what they got going on over there. Well, we've already talked about it. I mean, that side is just weak. I mean, it's really nobody that stands out in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So North Carolina should be able to make it, I would say, to the Elite Eight. I think that they're going to make it all the way up. I think they're going to make it all the way out of there because my goodness. Let me get to some more of these. Let me see. Some of the stuff I missed. Okay, right here. Let's go ahead and get some more of these chats. All right, so Poon Poon Smith said, "Remember the talk about wanting to exit early in the SEC tournament?" Hey man, that's funny. That is funny. Yep, that's true. Um, and then let's see what we got right here. Toothpaste, LOL. I don't know what that means. Not bad toothpaste. Bad cologne. I don't know what y'all talking about. And then this right here, what Stetson. I don't know what y'all talking about right there. Did I pull the right one up? Okay, yeah. I don't know what y'all talking about on that, but yeah. You know what? That's the funny thing is that I did want that early get out of the SEC tournament at first, but now I'm like, dude, we really needed it. Like we needed to keep on playing because we don't play well coming off of these long breaks. Now we got Auburn and South Carolina coming up. That's going to be an interesting game, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see South Carolina get this win. What's that going to do to the brackets if Auburn ends up going down early too? Oh, Colgate. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know much about Colgate, but yeah, outside of like y'all said, it is good toothpaste. Man, it's a nice day up in Nashville. I wish I was up there, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, y'all. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see over these next few days what the matchups look like, and I'm anxious to see what Coach Barnes has to say. If we could, I don't know if those post game interviews are up just yet. They probably aren't, and I'm gonna probably have to skate out of here in just a second, and and go on ahead and get on back to it. But let me see what mead drinker. Oh, you know what? Mead drinker. I don't know if you actually make mead, but that's something that I've been interested. I've been looking into how to do that. So if you know how to do that, man, shoot me a DM or like a personal message or something and let me know what's the best way to do it. Because I've been trying to look into doing that. But mead drinker says Mississippi State is a bad matchup for Tennessee. I agree. I agree. I think that there's several bad matchups for our Volunteers. And we have to find a way to make the bad matchups better matchups, obviously, if we want to win. That's why I'm frustrated because I just think that Coach Barnes is so stuck in his ways that he's going to live and die with what he does. And I mean, there's something to respect about that. But at the same time, a team that has, one of the best players that Tennessee basketball has ever seen in DK that can score and having all these seniors, all these guys that stuck around along with ZZ. I mean, this team is built to go into the tournament and to win it. I mean, like we really are. I think we have to change a couple of things as far as how we are preparing for these games. And I would say from like a schematical perspective versus some of these different teams. Got to switch some things up, man. That's just my personal opinion on it. Again, man, I'm not a basketball coach, so I could be 100% off on that, but we'll see, man. I do feel like hopefully this will light a fire under those guys. Let me also tell y'all this because I've watched a lot of the Players Lounge with our football players, softball players, basketball players, and our baseball players. And if y'all haven't checked that out yet, check it out. It's really good. Like you get a great insight to how the guys and gals interact with one another and just the type of people that they are kind of off the field. But I want to do something. Maybe we might do this like a weekly deal where we kind of listen to what some of the key clips of that. Let me know what y'all think about that. because I think that would be very interesting. It's just, like listen to our baseball team. You could tell their mindset, right? Like just the way that they're cut, the way that they're built. They're going to be a team that goes far. You can just feel that. It's something about how they carry themselves, how they think and all that. You could tell that they're dogs, right? And that's how I felt with Mississippi State. They played like dogs, and we didn't play like dogs today. But with our basketball team, I love our guys, but it's a little bit of a different. You can kind of tell who doesn't necessarily have the confidence to shoot and things like that. So I guess whenever I'm watching it, sometimes I'm kind of like analyzing how they think and trying to see, what's the mindset of this team? Who are the leaders? Meshack for sure is one of the leaders. It seems like Gainey is one of the leaders too. But we have to find a way to play more like dogs in games like this. I mean, it's times that Mississippi State's getting on the ground and we're not, like they're out physicaling us. That should never happen. We should never lose. And I don't think that was the only reason, but we should never get out efforted, if that makes sense, or if that's even a word. But all right. So, that's pretty much it. Let me know what y'all think about doing that though with the players lounge, because I think that y'all would get a lot of value from that. And also I think that is run by our student athletes, so they might get like a cut from that. So I want to help that channel grow as much as possible. But yeah, hey, me drinker, make sure that you send me that, please, sir, because I need to go ahead and get started on that. I heard it takes about like a month or two to get that thing right, but yeah, I want to go ahead and get started on that before the start of football season. And then JL right here saying, hopefully baseball will win for us tonight. Yeah, I hope so. I hope that they pull that broom out, man. I think that they can do it. And again, man, the baseball team, they just different. Like they are dogs. I feel like our football team, it's a whole lot of that too. So let's go ahead and get ready to see what Selection Sunday brings. I'll probably have a video out tomorrow talking about the baseball game. And shoot, spring practice is starting up on Monday. So a lot of things for us to be looking forward to. But thank y'all as always for tuning into this. I had to vent. I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts, and extremely disappointing loss. Another, my nephew Bray's probably happy. He's actually up in Tennessee, I think. He might be in Nashville. He's got a basketball tournament right now. So I know he's probably watching this right now, Bray. Love you, man. Too bad Georgia didn't make it, but love you anyway, dog. All right, y'all. We're going to catch y'all on the next one. Thank y'all as always for sticking all the way to the end. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll probably see y'all either later on tonight or tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.